Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new day of Road to TCG Worlds 2019. Thank you so much for being here with me. We are going to be playing with Pedro's winning decks in NG18. If you don't follow him on Twitch, you should, or on YouTube. Really good player, Spanish player, really cool person as well. And so he ended up winning a special event with this list. If you want to check out the explanation of this deck, definitely check out yesterday's video or Monday's video. Not sure when you're watching this, but yesterday's video should have the explanation of the deck. And so we're just going to use this time to jump into some games. It's really hot right now in Mexico as we get into full-on spring mode, so I might have to turn the fan on in a little bit, so I hope you guys pardon me for that if you start hearing that background noise, but I really am getting super hot. So we'll see. I'll try to hang on because I know the sound can be annoying, but no promises. Hopefully the sound isn't too annoying if I do end up turning it on. So I would like to go first. Always nice to do with these sort of decks. We get a decent-ish hand. I mean, the turn 1 Lily is always nice. Getting a Jolteon in your starting hand is never ideal, of course. Never ever ideal. So we'll see how we manage. We shall see how we manage. Okay. So obviously we can't bench anything else. My opponent took a while to choose their Pokemon. Okay, so we are up against Zoroark. So definitely a tough matchup for the deck. There is an EV prized. There is pretty much that as far as Pokemon go. So one EV prized, one Switch is prized, our Thunder Mountain is prized as well, one Guzma is prized, one Lily is prized, and one Choice Band and one Energy. So that's 7 prizes. I am miscounting something. Not sure what, but it's okay. I think I definitely want to go for the EV here. Or do I? Yeah, I do. It'll help me thin the deck. I do have plenty of ways to find Jirachis. I don't need a Jirachi per se. Like really quickly. I feel like the Choice Band should go onto the Jolteon because it gets me closer to KOing something like a Lycanroc. And then we get a really nice follow-up hand off of the Lilies because we get to keep thinning. We get double Jirachi. We do not get a Guzma though. I think that's the main card that's really missing from my hand. I don't mind filling up my bench. I really don't. I think the biggest card missing here is definitely a Guzma, because with that Guzma I might be able to pursue either a fighting type attacker or a sort of Alolan Muck attacker in order to pressure. Now my opponent is apparently playing Great Ball rather than Nest Ball. I mean, rather than Pokemon Communication, and he finds a Let Loose Marshadow, which is an interesting addition to Zoroark. Okay. So we get Let Loose. I'm okay with that. Definitely not gonna escape Rogue because then we would knock out Marshadow instead of the active Zorua. If my opponent doesn't establish a fighting threat or a Grimer, I am completely okay with this. Once again, a Great Ball. And my opponent does find the Ditto though. That's a really awful card for him to find for us because then now there's the potential for Muck. So what I'm going to do is Volkner for a switch into a Jirachi, Stellar Wish, and then I will go ahead and take a KO probably with Zapdos? Nah, probably with Jolteon. We'll see. Okay, so definitely gonna find these two, right? Definitely gonna find these two. Eliminating the Zoroark, eliminating the Choice Band is potentially good. Everyone does have this Zoroark pretty much ready to go. Right, so we'll go ahead and Stellar Wish here. I guess I could have escape roped to try to find a Guzma, but I'm not sure that would have been a great plan. Now, Electro Power, Choice Band, or Nest Ball. This is probably the last turn we're gonna have for Stellar Wish. So I think finding the Volkner and finding energy is a bit more valuable here. Definitely a bit more valuable. So I do have the KO on the Zoroark. The question is, do I do it with Zapdos or do I do it with Jolteon? Kind of feeling the Zapdos here. Because then I eliminate a Pokemon, my opponent needs 3 more basic Pokemon and the Zoroark that we know he already has in his hand to get a KO, and that that keeps our Jolteon GX safe here for now. In an ideal world, my opponent does not set up the Muck, but I think that's a bit too hopeful. Although my opponent does not have... Oh, there we go. There's the hopefulness paying off. Now, the stadium means my opponent only needs 2 basic Pokemon. Well, he needed 3 cards, right? 2 basic Pokemon in a stadium, or 3 basic Pokemon. But I am completely okay with this, I feel, because there's no Muck. Therefore, we get Jirachi every turn from now on. Unless my opponent establishes a Grimer. In which case, I would be very happy to go after with a Guzma. We see a Lecture, therefore no Grimer. Therefore no Grimer. There is a threat of double Rockruff. There is a Macargo being annoying right now. But I'm okay with this, I think, for now. Okay, an energy top deck would be fantastic. Not likely, but fantastic. And then... Wow, there we go. There we go. 3 cards in hand. What are the chances that my opponent has another Fighting, a Lycanroc, and a Counter Gain? He can get one of them with the Macargo, but he can't get all of them. I mean, I guess if I don't find Guzma off of this Stellar Wish, it actually doesn't matter at all. Electro Power is decent. Skateboard does mean I get a knockout. I mean, Escape Rope. Right. And then I could get the return KO on the Lycanroc with my Kogo. Is that what I want to do, though? Then he brings this guy up, goes down to 5 prizes. And then I go down to 2. With probably not an un-KOable Kogo. I really, really wanted to find a Guzma here, though. I really, really, really wanted to find a Guzma. So I think I'm going to try again. I definitely think I'm going to try again here for the Guzma. There we go. There is our beautiful Guzma. And who do I take the KO with, though? That's the question. Is it Zapdos again or the Jolteon? I'm feeling Zapdos just to spread the energy. Right? I'm feeling Zapdos just to spread the energy. But I could be wrong. It might be better to use Jolteon here. Though getting a KO and having one less benched could also be good. I don't think my opponent, like, he has a chance, but it's not a very high one that he gets a return KO. And then this benched guy, I think, is worth it. And so let's Headbolt. So if he promotes the Rockruff, then we are in trouble. Because that is an indicator that he has a very strong hand. Since he promotes the Zoroark, then he can still retreat into Lycanroc and eliminate energy, which would not be ideal. But it's also not the end of the world. Right, so I think we're good here. This Jolteon, if this Jolteon survives an attack, then we're being super cost effective with it. Because we just took a price card. We can Escape Rope probably into another one with the GX. And so Jolteon has already taken 2 with the potential for a 3rd one even. So... Ooh, the multi-switch. With the multi-switch, And the Ultra Ball, my opponent already had 2 of the 3 cards he needed to attack me with Lycanroc. That feels like a huge misplay, honestly. That feels like such a big misplay by my opponent. He gets the Lycanroc anyways, but he could have taken 2 prizes. He could have made, instead of Jolteon becoming cost effective, he could have made it super ineffective, right? By just taking 1 prize card versus his 2. So I don't understand my opponent's reasoning for this. I really don't. But I'm okay with it. I think the big deal is that my opponent has Magcargo instead of Mug. It does facilitate his game, but also facilitates mine. And I am the more cost-effective attacking deck, I believe. So probably putting a Liluricynthia at the top. Trading away the card that's not the Lycanroc, which ends up being an Acerola, so I'm glad I didn't hit into the Zoroark. We see a Palpad. I'm really hoping that was the other card my opponent drew, and he didn't put a Palpad off of the Smooth Over. I would not be surprised to see an evolution into bringing up the Zapdos or even the Jirachi, and then a Lily for 6. There's a Lycanroc. Yeah, there's a Jirachi. I think that's the right target for sure. What? You're kidding. You actually smoothed over for a Palpad, my friend? That is such a bad move. Okay. So, what's my plan here? Getting a KO on this guy is actually quite difficult, but the multi-switch being in the discard is huge. Right? It's absolutely huge. So I'm gonna promote the Jirachi. I think Escape Rope is pretty big here. But Guzma would be too. Now the fact that I just top decked an Electrobauer is pretty big, because now I actually have KO on Zoroark. Now I can KO the Zoroark. And I think that's the right move. I do believe that would be the correct move to go for here. I don't see any reason why not to do that. I'll evolve, and then I'll attach, and then I'll go switch, and I'll go triple Electro Power Rooney. And that means his Magcargo is kind of useless. I can Swift Run to make sure that my Jolteon does not go down for any reason whatsoever. And I think that's worth it. Now this Jolteon is going to be insanely cost effective. That was a big mistake by my opponent. Why would you smooth over for a Palpad when you're so behind? Out of all the cards in his deck, that was potentially the worst one to grab. But we'll take it. We will take it. And then does go for the Smooth Over. I wonder what he's gonna put up there. Now this does mean we won't necessarily be able to easily win, but there are 2 very easy targets, right? One is the Marshadow, the other is the Magcargo. Yeah, and both of those are very easy targets. One of them we're pretty much guaranteed with the Escape Rope, unless my opponent really analyzes and realizes that he has to promote the Lycanroc, or unless that Zoroark does not evolve. But either way, Escape Rope is probably 1 prize, and then we're hoping to Stellar Wish into a into something else. So my opponent does find the Zoroark, thanks to the Professor Kukui and the Smooth Over. We'll be able to trade here for, trade away the Mallow. Attaches an energy to a Lycanroc, very understandable, but probably just a little bit too late. And I even top decked the Guzma. So I think I'm gonna retreat first, and I will Stellar Wish, right? The Electrobauer is pretty nice. Eliminated Stadium, not that important. And then I'm pretty sure I'm gonna Escape Rope here. He's gonna promote the Marshadow. Automatic Pilot, yeah, based on what we've seen from my opponent, he was definitely going to promote the Marshadow. I do not mind this at all. I believe I'm just gonna take the hit with Zapdos, and now I'm pretty much guaranteed to win against that Macargo, right? I'll attach here. I will Volkner, unless my opponent loses again, right? That could be a way where we kind of whiff, not guaranteed whatsoever, but we can kind of whiff. So I'm just gonna thin my deck as much as I can. I don't even need Cocoa Prism Star. Like any game where the Lightning deck does not need their Cocoa Prism to beat you, you know something went really wrong. Yeah. And then Smooth Overing for a Pulpad? That's such a bad move. Okay, so we have Thunder Mountain and Guzma, so there's no way we don't win this game at this point unless we get judged or let loose into not a win. But I feel like my opponent's probably going to try and Guzma to get my Jolteon finally, which means we just win the game next turn. So yeah, no big deal here. No big deal whatsoever. My opponent will trade the Muck, so my opponent was running the Muck. I feel like Muck and Macargo is a bit greedy. We'll find the DC, we'll have the Guzma, and unless we see Stretcher for Let Loose, it doesn't matter. We're just gonna see a Claw Slash here. If my opponent's really angry, he could. Ooh, Ultra Ball could be into a second Let Loose. I'd be very surprised if my opponent goes for a second Let Loose. I'm gonna be in awe if my opponent goes for a second Let Loose. It is his out to potentially winning though, but just grabs a Lele. We are completely okay with that. Already played the Guzma, we'll bench the Lele, we'll grab something else. Why is he doing this? I do not know. Especially using up a Guzma. Like if you don't Ace Zoroark, okay. Like there was nothing forcing him to do that. If you don't do that, then you might even have a chance to Guzma next turn to win. So that was really odd. That was indeed fairly odd, because how many Guzmas is that? 2, and the Pulpad already gone. Probably runs 3 though. Probably runs 3. So yeah, get the win here. Very bad matchup usually, but really awesome. We got a really lucky top deck in that Electro Bar that allows us to get the Zoroark, and then not having to deal with an level 1 Mug is always pretty big. So my opponent's start was of course not great. Ours was pretty decent, but that's the thing though, like we don't need a lot to get going, whereas our opponent really does. And I think we're up against Malamar, so 2 really good games to showcase the deck against the top decks. Perhaps not played optimally, but never mind. I guess this shows one of the weaknesses of the deck. Like, this hand is not unrealistic. This hand is not completely out there. And now we hope we get let loose on turn 1. That would be fantastic. Gonna see a switch immediately. And depending on what my opponent's hand is, yeah, going for Jirachi on turn 1 is either really good or really bad. Metal Energy, Viridian, and did have the Lily, so that's super greedy. It's like he sacrificed a way to get an Inkay just so that he could Stellar Wish, but now he needs another switching card to attack next turn. He has 1 less Inkay than he would normally have, so I don't know. I completely disagree with, especially if you already have the Lily. Like if you're searching for Lily, then go for it. But if you already have the Lily, what is up with this obsession, right? To Stellar Wish first. Triple Inkay would be so much better. Triple Inkay here would be so much better. I mean, the game might not even last long enough for my opponent to realize the difference, but I don't know. Okay, so I do find a Volkner, and I do have a switch. So I will be able to KO his beloved Jirachi. Do I want to attack with Jolteon? No. I don't think I do. I mean, I could go for the Stellar Wish, right? Because my hand is really, really awful. But I do have the Guzmas to like pressure and play around. Oh, and just when I say that, I click on the Jirachi. Oops, that should have been a Zapdos, 100%. Should have been a Zapdos. I mean, it's not the worst because I found an escape board, but that 100% should have been a Zapdos. Like a Jirachi for a Jirachi just to find a switching card so I could attack with the Zapdos. So, a bit dubious there, but oh well. Oh well. I do find an Eevee, which is pretty important. I didn't even bother checking if the other Jolteon is in the deck. Hopefully it is. Right, but that's a mistake on my part. That should have been a Zapdos, not a Jirachi. That was a silly misclick. Okay. Looks like my opponent doesn't have a great follow-up hand here. So now he needs to find another switch, right, to even have a chance at KOing my Zapdos. We do see the Mysterious Treasure for a Malamar plus a Stadium plus a switch or a Guzma. That could be knockout, right? I think that would be worst case scenario if he knocks out my Jirachi. Which, if it were a benched, Zapdos, it would have been a bit more costly. And we see a Cynthia, so that's completely fine by me. Okay. And we see a solid pass for us. Okay, so we top deck Let Loose. That's pretty nice. Definitely gonna attach to the Eevee. And okay, so do we want to Let Loose? We're definitely gonna Guzma, right? And I'm kind of feeling attacking the Ultronic Guzma. Sure, I could just KO the Inkay, but I'm kind of liking pressuring the Ultronic Guzma because the Ultra Guzma wants to pressure us, but this way, like unless he finds a Guzma and another Psychic, which I guess he has, our Jolteon will be unharmed. Or I could even, now that I found the Stadium, I could even GX, right? I could even GX, or I could Coco Prism Star, but I could GX against his Ultra Guzma, and then he might not even get a single prize card. I think that's my best play here. If he gets one prize card, then so be it. I just don't want the Ultra Guzma to get two. Yeah, that's what I really don't want. I think I'm going to use Viridian to get rid of an energy. And sure, I'll grab another one. And then I think I'm definitely going to use Let Loose. I am definitely going to use... Well, actually, no. Why not? Because of the GX attack. I think I'm just gonna attack here. Unless my Jirachi goes down, I will bench the Marshadow. But the late game Sky Scorching Light GX is a pretty big deal. A potentially pretty big deal. Okay. So we see double Malamar. My opponent needs a Guzma to take a prize. And then we take two. Because we have the follow-up Guzma as well. So things are looking pretty nice. We are ahead, and we're gonna be even more ahead. And if my opponent doesn't even get a prize here, then that's gonna be so bad. He does find the Lele, or did have the Lele, so... Ooh, Acerola. So instead of taking a prize, he instead denies me a prize. Which is not bad per se. Yeah, but we can do the same thing. We can just go Guzma against the Ultronic Guzma. I mean, now it will be a trade-off 2 for 2, but I don't know. Okay, so by knowing that he had delay, if I had gone Guzma with Zapdos, KO, and Inkay, or GX against the Malamar, probably not ideal. Now we know he has a Beast Energy in his hand, which we can't shuffle away with a Let Loose. So, I'm not even sure if I want to attach energy. I think now is when I'm going to Guzma this guy again. And now I'm going to Let Loose, because there's no Jirachi active, and my opponent could generally whiff the Metal Energy. Now he needs Metal Energy and Guzma to make this worth his while. And a way to retreat as well, because he doesn't even have that yet. So we'll go ahead and Stellar Wish. I will go ahead and grab the Cynthia for next turn. I find the Jolteon again, which is super annoying. And then, I believe, I will attack with a Zapdos. Sure, I will. I mean, it's likely I lose a Zapdos, or that I don't get attacked at all. But losing the Jolteon, I don't think it's going to be too likely. I mean, I guess we don't know. But with no Stadium, finding the Metal Energy might be the difficult part. Ooh, my opponent does decide to retreat into a Stellar Wish. So we'll see. Finds the Guzma off the Stellar Wish. So did he draw the metal? Yeah, he did. He's going so quickly that he definitely did. Okay, so it's not the end of the world. We're still ahead. Right? We're still ahead. It's just been a weird back and forth. It's just been a weird back and forth. But it's okay. It's okay. Maybe I should have GX KO'd a Malamar. Maybe. Oh, wait, what? Oh, my opponent whiffed. Oh, my. I generally thought Jolteon was gone here. I just assumed, but no, he had no beast. Wow. Okay, this was just even better. Okay, so I should retreat my Jolteon, right? I should definitely retreat my Jolteon and just establish more threats. I could max potion it. That might actually be good. That's probably the right play, in fact. Yeah, we're gonna max potion. Then I actually think now we save the Electro Power. Because we have the free head vault thanks to the Thunder Mountain. With perfect maths from one hit of Zapdos and then the next by Jolteon. I honestly just assumed my Jolteon was dead. Now my opponent needs a Metal Energy plus a Choice Band, or a Beast Energy plus an Ultra Guzma, plus a double Psychic Recharge, plus a switching card. So, not bad. Not bad here for us. This Jolteon just took 2 prizes, might get a third one. Which makes it super cost effective, and we're already 3 prizes ahead. And we saved that Electro Power. Ooh. We see the Marshadow GX, which is honestly not a big deal, right? It's just an easy prize for me to take, an easy prize for me to take with Coco GX here. So I'm completely okay with this. Does my opponent have Metal Energy plus Switch? Fails the Mysterious Treasure. Okay, so just trying to thin, that makes sense. Not giving away more information, I guess, on what he has left. Gets a Stadium, that's fine. That gets him the metal. Does he find the switching card? Does he find the switching card? If he does, then that's okay, like I said. I get the return KO with my Coco GX on the Marshadow thanks to Coco Prism Star. I am down to 1 prize, and then I have Guzma plus Electro Power for a game. Or just a Guzma for a game on Jirachi, so... And if my opponent whiffs, then that's 100% game over. And he did whiff. Okay. So, let us get rid of the Jolteon. Find an energy. And then let us establish another Zapdos. Another Zapdos. And then let us Guzma, this friend. we shall Stellar Wish for an Electro Power. This way we don't give away the fact that we already have an Electro Power in our hand. The less information you give to your opponent, the better. We'll absorb both energies, promote the Zapdos, attach energy, Electro Power, and then we shall Sky High Claws for the KO. This does mean we don't have a Guzma to finish off the game next turn, but it's really no big deal, I don't think. We eliminate the threat. Now my opponent needs to find the Ultra Guzma, etc, etc. And we're so far ahead now. 1 prize to 6. 1 prize to 6. Like, it can take me 2 turns to win, and I still, like, I'm okay with that. Goes for a switch onto a Jirachi. My opponent just not giving up. Just absolutely not giving up. We see the Stretcher. Stretcher will probably get the Ultra Guzma, but no. There's finally the victory. So pretty solid games for the deck, not gonna lie. All these lightning decks are pretty powerful. I did write a whole article on the lightning decks over at 6 Prizes in case you guys want to check it out. So yeah, really excuse me, really good deck. That will be all for today, guys. Don't forget to leave a like, really helps out the channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more of the finalist decks in action. Next up we have the Regigigas Hoopa, so hopefully we do well with that. Thank you guys so much, and until next time, bye bye.